Hello, this is Mr. Ellis. I'm going to record for you today a video that covers some of the basics of Eclipse. I'm going to give you some of our naming conventions, and I will provide these videos periodically for new content so that you will have a video study guide in order that you may study and inquire when you have a question. You can go to these videos and learn how to use Eclipse, learn how to do control statements, and learn any of the content that we're uh, currently covering. I'll try and keep the library on Canvas. At some point, however, because they are videos and I only have 1 gig, I will have to wipe and restore. Okay, let's start by opening Eclipse. This version is possibly not the same version as you have, but it will apply. This lesson will apply to any version of Eclipse. Let's open a new directory. I don't want you to toggle this box. Do not check this box. If you check this box, it limits you to the current directory only, and you'll have all of your projects in the same directory. I would like you to create a new directory for each project. And in this way, you will have that power, and it is easily located, or you can browse for it. I'm going to call this a demo 2. Okay. And as I launch, now any content that I create during this session will be placed in the demo 2 directory. When you first open in a new directory, you get the welcome screen. You can click to close that. Here we see the default perspective, which is actually the Java perspective. Uh, and this is the developers, Eclipse for Java developers. So this is the perspective we'll be working in. I want to talk about some of the naming conventions for our projects, our packages, and our classes. First, let's create a project. That's done through File, New, and I want a Java project. If I do not find Java project in this list, I can go to Project or Other. I prefer Other, and then I will select Java project from this list and click Next. Okay, this dialog is for a new Java project. It asks for basically you to give it a name, and then it suggests some defaults, and I want you to accept the defaults in all of these because, after all, it is the Java 8 package that we want to use, and yes, we want all of our source files and class files in a separate directory. Naming convention. Okay, for a project, uh, I would like the assignment name and your name in some combination in your project name. So suppose I am doing the athlete program, okay, which is one of your assignments that will come up. I would name my project Mr. Ellis Athlete. Right? If I could spell, I'd be dangerous. Athlete. Okay. Click Finish. All the defaults are accepted. It asks, this is a redundant question. It asks if you would like to associate this with the Java perspective. Well, it is a Java program. This is Java programming, and it is developers Eclipse for Java. So that's a redundant question. Just click to open it. Now we have our Java perspective. And if you check the Package Explorer, you'll see that it indeed created our new project. This project is stored in the demo to directory on your drive according to the path. If you wanted to know where it is stored, you can go to Project, okay, Properties, and in there you'll see a location, and it'll show you exactly where your project is stored. Users, C. Ellis, Demo2, which is the directory that we created for this session, Mr. Ellis Athlete. Excellent. Okay. Now, I have my name in the project name. I would like to open this and see what we have in our new project. We have two subdirectories in our project. One is the libraries, which are filled with jar files, and these jars contain all that make Java. Okay. And then there's one that has nothing in it, which is our source directory. And the source directory is where all the action is. We will place our packages and our classes in our source directory. So at this point, I'd like to create what is known as a package. Now, what is a package? A package is a subdirectory. It is a storage area. I like to think of it as a domain. In a project, you can have several packages. Those packages can be separated so that you don't have any name domain clashes. Okay. It can be exchanged. Classes in separate domains can be accessed by placing that package specification in your program. We'll talk about how to do that at a later date, but know this. The majority of your projects, the majority of your program assignments will be in the same package. Of course, I want your projects to be segregated, but I would like all your classes in the same package. Okay. So in order to create a package, I want to right click on the source. Again, go new, not Java project or project, but package. Now, you can see where they're going to store this. The hierarchy is the same. From demo 2, we go to Mr. Ellis Athlete to source. In the source directory, we're going to have a package. Now, the naming convention for your package in industry is usually to reverse your URL. Suppose I work at google.com. The name of my package would be com.google.project name or assignment name in our case. Your assignment will be in here. So our naming convention will be com.your last name, Ellis. You can put your first name, Clifton, no spaces, dot, and then the assignment name. And the assignment is athlete. Okay. As long as you have those three nodes, the package is valid. If it starts with com, your name, and then the assignment name, then you'll be all right with me. I mean, I'll be able to say this is Fred's assignment because of the naming convention of our packages. I'll click Finish, and you can see again in the Package Explorer that I have created a package called com.ellisclifton.athlete. No comment about my first name, please. All right. So the result of creating this hierarchy is that now I have a unique domain, the naming convention, and the location and so forth for my classes. In order to create a class, I have to repeat the process, same procedure, right click on my package. I want a new, not project package, but class. Okay. And you can see again where this is going to be located. If at some later date you happen to want to use it without going through Eclipse, you can find it on your PC, on your laptop, by knowing this, I call it XPath. How do I name my classes? Well, the class name is going to follow, again, the same uh, procedure as your package and your project. I will call it Mr. Ellis Athlete. Come on. Okay. It is going. I will go over the modifiers at some later date. Most of our programs in this class will be public. Okay. Most of the classes will be public. I do, however, want to point out that unless you click this box, you will not get a main method. The main method is of the utmost importance for execution and testing of your classes. So most of our programs right now will all have a main, so that becomes part of our procedure. I will say at some point, do not include the main method. After you've clicked this checkbox, finish. Okay, and now, voila, we have a class. Okay, you can see that the package of this class is Ellis.Clifton.athlete. The name of the class is Mr. Ellis Athlete. Okay. As long as your name are in those two locations, my grading will go smoothly and there will be no errors. Okay. Now, I would like to show you some things about Eclipse that may make your assignment smoother. Okay, one, I went through the right-click method for creating packages. Here in the toolbar, you will find a button for creating packages. You'll also find in the toolbar a button for creating classes. Okay. Uh, Another, it's an irritant to me, is the fact that this text in my class is so small. They actually default the text to the smallest possible uh, font size. So I would like to change it. In other programs like Word and all the Microsoft programs, I could go there, right click, and change the size of my actual words, of my actual text. But in this program, I would like to change the font size of my text. I have to go through a procedure, several dialog boxes. I'll show you two ways. First, let's use the hammer. You go to Windows, click on Windows, go to Preferences, click on Preferences. You see a ton of information here, okay? We're going to be in the General Appearance, Fonts, and Colors and Fonts, rather. Okay. Inside Colors and Fonts, we go to Java, and we're going to do it in the Java editor, the text editor for the fonts. You double click that and it opens this dialog box, which allows me to change the font itself, actual font type, and the font style. They don't have an abundance of styles. You have the bold, italic, the bold, and the italic. I would stick with regular. It doesn't really matter because it's colorized, right? And the browser itself is very intelligent. It has a font size, it defaults to the lowest font size, which is 10. I like 12 through 20. I usually land at 16, which is a good font size. I click OK. I click Apply. I click Apply and Close. And now, whenever I create a class in this package, I will receive this font size. It's now built in. Okay. The other way, the other method is to right click and go to Preferences. And it's not as cluttered. Okay. So you can pick general, again, appearance, colors and fonts. You can pick them here until you find the editor. It's in here, Java, the editor, double click, and you will receive the same dialog. I'm just going to cancel because I've already changed my font size. Okay, excellent. Now, although I don't have any statements in my class, I would like to address something that is an irritant to me, is the fact that these curly brackets in statements are, as you see them here, you have this is a method header, and after each method header, you get a curly bracket to open, and you get a curly bracket to close the block. Okay. Now, for a method header, that's pretty standard. Most programmers like that. The fact that they are uh, on separate lines and not associated is not a problem. I know where the closing bracket is. Okay. With the class, it's the same. It has an open and a closing bracket. Okay. And they say that the main method is nested inside your class. Okay. I would like to change that alignment for some statements, some of my statements. And so in order to do that, I have to go and use something known as a formatter for my editor. And it's the same procedure. You go Windows, into your preferences. In your preferences, it's not general, but Java, because I'm going to affect the editor. And it is code style is where we want to go. And then in there somewhere is formatter, Java, code style, formatter. And now you must create a new formatter for each class. So I will create one called Mr. Ellis code style. Okay, click OK. It will open a dialog box for you. Now in here, it's not only the curly brackets that can be affected from this point, but you can affect your braces, rather, your curly braces, your parentheses, white space, which is just blank lines and characters, new lines, control statements, which in this session we will look at braces and control statements. Let's talk the braces first. In here on the right hand side, it gives you a diagram or a image of how they appear by default. Okay, if you'll pay attention here, the interface empty has, again, the opening on the same line as the header and then the closing on the next line. I would like to have them on the next line. Okay, and the content for my block will go between these two, and it lines up and it looks really nice. Okay, and I'll do the same with all of these guys. I would like to put them all on the next line. And you can see them changing as I go through here. Don't worry about the state. This is not a statement. These are not statements. These are structures. Don't worry about the structures that we're changing. We will go over them at some point in the class. Now, array initializers. When you initialize an array, this is initialization of an array. If I was to go to the next line for array initializers, look what happens. It's unassociated. It has the equal sign here and it's unassociated. So I want to leave that one on the same line. And I want to do the same with the body. Okay. Now let's apply, well, before we do that, we would like to talk about the control structures. Control structures, there's an annoyance with I always talk in those terms. Let's look at the do while. Here we have the do while is a loop structure and it has a body. And if you look at this, the while is on the same line with the closing curly bracket or curly brace. Okay, I don't like that alignment. I like it to be with the while on the next line. And now the body of the statement is bounded by the do and the while, and it's known as a do while statement. So when you see do, you know that everything inside between the do and the while belongs to that statement. No matter how many other structures are nested inside, you can actually see the alignment. Okay. I would like to do the same with my final and my try catch. You see that final is on the same line. Excuse me. Same with the catch and the try. Okay, and so now they're bounded by the statements with blocks neatly inside. Okay, the else if you look at this, this is kind of hokey. It says if true, then you have the body of the if part, and then you have else, and then you have the body of the else if rather, and then you have the body below it. I would like those to line up so that you know that this is the body of the if and this is the body of the else. Okay, now we can apply and click OK. I want to apply and then apply and close for safety's sake. Now that's just about all I'd like to talk about for Java. In class, periodically, I will point out some things about Eclipse that are useful in the programming of Java. I appreciate your patience. Thank you for listening.